I think there have been tensions in this Downing Street operation really since its very inception. You know, there have been concerns about the very strong influence of Lee Cain, who's particularly very close to Dominic Cummings, who is the Prime Minister's most senior political advisor. I think for a long time, some MPs and also people in government have been uncomfortable about what's been a very sort of front foot, a very aggressive style, which is how he and that band, that Vote Leave band of people loyal to the Prime Minister and loyal to Brexit have always been portrayed. But I think it's important in the context of all of this to realise and understand that Lee Cain was the Prime Minister's longest serving aide in Downing Street. He's been by his side since he was Foreign Secretary. He then stayed working with him when he was on the backbenches, plotting in the background to build a leadership campaign. So it's hard to overstate actually the closeness that there's been with the two men at a time when Boris Johnson was sort of riding a political roller coaster up and down. But the tensions have been brewing for a very long time, and yesterday it all just started to spill out into the open in the most extraordinary way.
And if people are wondering why should we care about this, why does it matter what goes on behind the scenes in Downing Street?
Because instead of thinking that the government machine is just sort of ticking along, every fibre, every bit of energy, every effort going to handling a pandemic, going towards concluding a Brexit deal in the next 10 days or so, actually, behind the black, shiny door, there have been rival factions vying for influence over the Prime Minister for weeks and months.
And just explain to us exactly who those rival factions are. We know that Lee Cain was very close to Dominic Cummings, very powerful figure in government. But who are their opponents?
There's this sort of Vote Leave cabal, Project Brexit. Dominic Cummings, obviously the sort of capo of that. Then you might have what you describe as what's been described to me as Project Boris, which is the Prime Minister himself, his fiancée, Carrie, who is also a former Tory political operative and clearly, whether you think it's right or not, clearly one of his most influential unofficial advisors. But then also it's suggested to me, if you like, there's a third project which you could call Project Boring. You know, people who are small c conservative, people who are long-serving officials, ministers and MPs who just want things to be calm and just want to get things done. And I'm sure some of our listeners are, kind of putting the kettle back on or thinking, why on earth should this all matter to me? Who are these people? And of course, the individuals are not what matters in the bigger picture. But this is about how our government is functioning. And I have to say, some of the private dysfunction that we've heard about for a long time really spilled out and broke out yesterday in a way that does actually matter. We will see now, however, because you could argue too, this is an opportunity for the Prime Minister to reset his operation, which is something that actually a lot of people have been calling for in one way or another for quite some time.